Hello internet, welcome to my very sick face. It's also like the sun is right there, like it's right there. So today I'm going to be talking a little bit about some stories that me off guard and surprised me, because these are the sorts of books that leave the most lasting impressions and which are a lot more fun. So we're going to talk about those today. And at the end of the video I have a super quick announcement for my channel, so please don't forget to stick around for that. So the first thing I want to talk about was actually the inspiration for this video, and that was the movie Chinatown. So we all know Jack Nicholson. He's an actor, he did The Shining, he's great, he's really well known, like he's been in a lot of stuff. I feel like I look so bad, but it's just the sun is in my eyes. It's right there. But a lot of people, especially recently, know Jack Nicholson for his super hammy, kind of over-the-top performances. In Chinatown, it's just a little bit more subdued. I remember just sort of noticing when I was watching Chinatown for the first time, embarrassingly recently, and I just remember thinking to myself, wow, Jack Nicholson is a really good actor. Like, we all know Jack Nicholson is a really good actor, but if you go back to some of those like earlier performances where he's not just like hamming it up all the time, like pre-Shining performances, it's like incredible. Not surprising that Jack Nicholson was a good actor, but it was like a completely different sort of good acting that I was just like, not even like Jack Nicholson as a good actor, but just an actor that good. It just completely like floored me how amazing this performance was. The next thing I want to talk about is a book I kind of picked up when I picked it up around Christmas before I moved back to London. I got a Barnes & Noble gift card, as you do, and I decided to spend it on what I was considering kind of like fluffier contemporary stuff. I wasn't going to read any series or anything that I thought I was going to get really super into. I wanted to read pure fluff because I didn't want to get too attached to something, because then I'd have to bring it with me, and that was not the goal. So I chose a couple of books, and I'd had my eye on this one book for a little while. I was drawn to the fact that it didn't really focus on romance, like both central characters had romances that they talked about, and I thought, oh cool, it's focusing on a brother-sister relationship and not a romance. It was legitimately one of the most beautiful books I've ever read in my life. It's called I'll Give You the Sun by Jennifer Niven. Read this book. The language was beautiful, the story was just lovely, and these characters were like engrossing. You wanted them to be happy, and it's not a mystery, but there's like mysterious elements to it, but it's just overall like a really lovely book. And if you can get your hands on a US copy, it's got a really lovely cover, which I could show you, but all my books are packed away. I brought it to London with me. Completely defeated the purpose, but I did it. So I'm combining two books into the next category. There's one genre of book I can never get myself to read. I really hate it. Not because I think it's badly written or anything like that, but just because I personally, as a reader, can't handle it. And that's the horror genre. I'm a fraidy cat. I can't watch horror movies. Stephen King is like not my thing. And yeah, but I've read two like vaguely horror-y books in the last couple of years and was just completely blown away by them. The first one was The Lovely Bones, which isn't horror, it's a thriller. As it involves a ghost, it was the closest thing to a horror novel I've ever read. And I finished it in 2 days. Really glad I read it. It was a really good reading experience, and I read it because I'd seen the film, which again was the closest thing to a horror film I've ever seen. It's just a genre I don't really do, so the fact that I enjoyed this book and that it was so engrossing and that I'd even watched the film in the first place was a really big step for me. Second one was called Frozen Charlotte by Alex Bell, and this was a part of, I think, the Zoella Autumn Book Club last year, the year before. I hadn't been reading, and I was like, well, there's this book club thing going on, and this was the first like properly horror book I've ever read. It is for younger kids, which is why I was okay with reading it, but it had such like a creepy atmosphere. It was like, I read it in a day. It's not like I'm gonna now use it as a springboard into more horror books, but the fact that I was able to read them and I enjoyed them was like a big step for me. So the next category is stories that got me hooked like that, and there are two notable ones. Merlin, which I've talked about a lot on this channel because it's my favorite. I was hooked very early in the first episode. I think the second I realized that magic was banned in this version of Camelot, I was like, yes. For some reason, I'm like super into those like Salem witch trials sort of deals where like there's the witches who have to like hide their magic because there's like a witch hunt going on. I was hooked so quickly, and it ended up being really fun. And the other story is the book version of Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. I was literally hooked on this book by the first page of the prologue. That never happens. I don't know what it was, if it was the writing style, if it was the atmosphere, if it was the creepy photos, but I loved it. I haven't ever reread it, but it's the most common book that I want to reread. So I talked about I'll Give You the Sun as kind of like thinking that I was picking up some contemporary fluff, and a lot of times when I do read contemporary books, YA contemporary books especially, it is fluff, but I remember like just never reading it because of that. Not because I thought that there was anything more to it, but just because I didn't know enough about the genre to know where to look. And that's where I came across my favorite book of all time. I think I've mentioned it in almost every single video I've ever made, Perks Being a Wallflower. It was one of the first contemporary books that just didn't leave me. It's still my favorite. It makes me cry. The film makes me cry every single time. And these characters, they just mean so much to me. I don't know what I can say about it that hasn't already been said, but it was really surprising to me because when I read it, I borrowed it from my friend because the film was coming out. It had Logan Lerman and Emma Watson in it. What was better than that? So I read it because the movie was coming out and was just amazed by how much I loved it. It was at the top of my list, probably within 100 pages. And the last one I want to talk about is a movie. This is the movie that jumps out from my first foray into like watching like good films. I was definitely like an animated film blockbuster goer only for forever. I really liked watching the Oscars, but like I'd never seen any of these movies. So I decided one year I'm gonna go see the movies. And this was one of the ones I decided to pay for. And I'd never heard of it, but it got nominated and I thought, oh, okay, I'll go see that. And I did, and it just like destroyed me. It's not sad per se, because it has a happy ending, but then it kind of goes on to like leave you on a bit of a sour note. That's Spotlight, and Spotlight is now one of my favorite movies of all time. I was so excited when it won Best Picture, because I just remember like watching it and just being totally engrossed. It's not the sort of film that you would watch and go, yes, let's watch this film a million times over, but I will go back and watch that film like multiple times a year just because I think it's so well done. So I've been talking for too long. I did want to give a quick update on my channel because I've been thinking about some stuff and I've made a couple of decisions. So I haven't really been passionate about a lot of what I've been posting. I really like it, but a lot of times it's like, right, let's just like throw a video together and just sort of go with it. Kind of like just trying to fit into some sort of theme. When I made this channel, I made it with like other people's advice in mind. And like, if you want to do something, you have to, you know, have a theme, you have to have something to offer, you have to have people who like want to care about you. But are people really going to care less if my videos don't follow a theme? Because I love talking about books and movies and stuff. I'm like right in the throngs of writing a dissertation and trying to work out PhD applications. It's just a really kind of stressful moment to try and also be trying to worry about the things I want to talk about and fitting that into some sort of theme. So I've kind of decided that fuck it, and I'm gonna just sort of mix it up a little bit. I'm gonna try some new things, and if I want to make a video about something, I'm gonna make a video about something. The majority of it will still be entertainment, like story based, but I'm not really gonna focus on making that what my channel is about, because I'm not supposed to be doing this for numbers, and I've been focusing on the numbers too much about, you know, how many people like the Instagram posts for the videos that I post and how many people actually watch the videos. But it was a little bit discouraging. If you live your life that way, then you're just gonna be sad. And I just kind of like making things. I'm gonna start next week by just sort of making videos about what I want to talk about. It's like, oh, well, I had something planned, but now I don't want to do that thing anymore. I'm going to do something else. It might be vlog related. It might be something about my passion for environmental and sustainability. It might be talking about my PhD stuff, and even like stuff like that. Like that is something that more people can relate to. It's not just, well, people who want to be writers can watch this video, because that's not what I want this to be about. I'm still going to be making a lot of videos that are very similar to what I'm making now, but it's not really going to be my focus. And so I'm going to have some fun. So we're going to switch it up and do some experiments over the next few months. Hopefully that'll be exciting. If you liked this video, or if you want to see more videos like this, or if you want to see more videos of me just sort of experimenting with the world and with the magic of making YouTube videos on my stupid iMac camera, please hit that subscribe button. I've also linked all my social media down below. Also, officially moving, based on just the way my writing schedule's been, I'm officially moving my videos to Fridays. So starting this week, I guess starting last week, because I made a mistake last week, I'm officially moving my videos to Fridays. So I will see you next Friday. Bye.